Hello YouTube, and this is a COP EV car charger, or EVSE. So it's not actually a charger, it's basically it's a plug. So you've got a normal plug socket at the end, and you've got a car charging cable on the other end. This one's got an adapter on it. So I used to have a Nissan Leaf, which is a Type 1 plug. Now I've got a Renault Zoe, which is a Type 2 plug. So this is a Type 1 to Type 2 converter. Now this doesn't work on the Zoe. So you see the green light there where the charger thing is. When I plug it in the Zoe, the car initiates the charge and that turns red. And I think what's happening is this has its own ground fault protection if you read the instruction manual. So it constantly checks the ground, and if the ground disappears or goes bad, it turns off. Now the Zoe, because of the weird way the Zoe works, it's very fussy with grounds, and if it detects a fault in the ground, it also turns off. And I think because the Zoe's checking the ground, it's putting a current through the ground lead and makes this trip, which then in turn trips the Zoe in the car, and everything goes horribly wrong. So I think the best way of doing this is to disable the ground fault protection in this and leave it to the car to do the ground fault protection, if that makes sense. So first thing I've got to do is pretend I'm a car and make sure that actually I can get this working properly. So I need to put the signals into here to pretend I'm a car, which should be quite easy because they're quite simple. If we look at this nice picture on Google, you can see we've got the center pin, which is protective earth. We've got proximity pilot, PP, and we've got control pilot. So this pin here is the proximity pilot. This tells the car and the charger that they're actually plugged together. And this is control pilot, so this is the charger telling the car how much it can charge. And this works by sending a PWM signal back to the car. And this one is simply a resistor to tell it how much current it can pull from the cable. So effectively that's a set value, I believe, in the car. But I think what I can do is put a resistor between earth and this one, and that should tell the charger that it should be allowed to charge. So we shall try that now very carefully. So that's a 1.2k resistor in there, and I'm just going to turn the power on and see if it recognises the car. Lights are flashing. It doesn't. Interesting. Can I give that a wiggle with some insulated pliers? No, still doesn't like it. Wonder why that is. Well, I need to do some more Googling. Well, that's interesting. If you look now, the car light is flashing and you've got the bar lights showing the charging speed. And so this thinks there's a car connected, but I've now got the resistor and the diode, speed diode in series, connected between these two pins. And if we look at our little diagram, it should be connected between the other one. So this one here is PP, and if you look on another symbol, PP, so PP, it should be connected to PP is indeed on that side. So has this plug been wired up incorrectly? And that'd be why it doesn't work, and my whole theory of the grounding issue is actually wrong. I'm going to find some more pictures of Type 2 connector pin outs and just see if I am indeed correct where PP should go. Come on, focus. So yeah, so this end seems to be correct. So we've got earth in the center, control pilot, earth in the center, control pilot. So earth and control pilot, that's our resistor and diode. And the charger is on and charging. And this is the adapter that I had on the end. So we can be able to tell which one pins are which and buzz it through and see if it goes to the right place on here. And remember, this adapter's been wired up wrong. Should be easier to take apart this one, just screws. Hopefully it's just a wire in the wrong place. Interesting. Right, so I've taken the adapter apart, there's a shell of it, and that's confused me as to why they put a resistor in there between there and earth, because effectively there is no connection. between proximity pilot and the other signal. It should be straight pass-through. Why would you do that? That's going to limit the current, obviously, to the car, but the car's not going to, the charger end isn't going to know anything about it. That, to me, seems wrong, because you'd want that to straight pass through to that pin. Help me understand here, because if that isn't connected, then your charger in your car can't talk. That is going to be on control pilot. Now that's going to be what have they done? Because your charger's at this end, and you've got control pilot and proximity pilot. You're only going to have one of them signals this end. This has got a fake signal, effectively, because you're telling the car, yes, it's plugged in on the wrong pin, but we'll ignore that for now. I just think that's all wrong, because your charger's not going to know. And your charger's going to be the one, your car's going to know, but your charger's not going to know. That's why the charger, this is just wrong. Am I mistaken here? Can someone please correct me? If this is just an adapter, it should just be a pass-through. It shouldn't have any, as long as this is built to cope with your 7 kilowatts, which it's only a short run. I mean, it should be on this, yeah, it should be on that cable, shouldn't it? It looks quite a thick, sturdy cable. I don't see the point of having the resistor. You'd have it straight pass through. Now, there is a pin in there. What if I can take it out and crimp it on? What a bugger. What have they done? I still don't understand what they've done and why they've done that. How bizarre. Right, anyway, I'm going to take the back off this. I'm going to connect that cable as I think it should be connected straight into there. And we'll go from there. Right, so this is a pain. So I managed to get this type 2 end off, and there's all the pins, and they're crimped pins, but that's not a problem because that's the side that we want to keep. This side, I want to get this wire up in there into that pin, but I can't see how this pin here comes out. I mean, I'm taking the rubber off and it's still trapped up there, so there must be some extraction tool to get it out. And I can't seem to get it out. So, because the idea obviously is to run this cable up into that pin, take this resistor off. But I can't. So, do I cut this off, reuse the type 2 connector, and just fit the type 2 connector on the end of this? I mean, this is 50 quid of Amazon, so I need to really complain, because this I don't think this is right. I don't see why the adapter should have the resistor in it. I think the charger should have the resistor in it, because it just doesn't work otherwise. Comment if you disagree with me. But yeah, it's a bugger. So I'm going to see if I can get that pin out. I'm going to just give it one more try. And then, I don't know. It's annoying, isn't it? So I've just gone out to the car and taken a picture of the connector in the car. And so you can see this one up here is PP, proximity pilot. That's the one I'm on about. CP, control pilot, which is the square wave. PWM is that side. So obviously that's in the middle. So this connector would plug in that way, effectively onto the car. And so that is that one, control pilot, which proximity pilot, sorry, which tells the car the connector's plugged in, is on that pin as it would plug in. So yeah, so this is the wire that's connected to earth. So this will tell the car that this is plugged in, but it won't tell the charger, that thing, that it's plugged in. So I believe the pins are actually correct, but because they've got this resistor in place, that charge is not being told to start charging. And that's what the problem is. And of course, that's your control pilot signal there. And it goes off to there. So I believe that is correct. So this isn't correct. So what I'm going to do, I had to think about this. I'm going to cut this lead, keep that connector. I'm going to throw it on the floor. Let me pick it up. Oh, now half of it is missing. What have I done? What a plum. See, you only come here for the best content, don't you? I can go up there. Right. So, you know what I've just done? Oh, look, these little washers are all falling out. Make sure they're all in. Yeah, I've got 3 there. Yep. So what I'm going to do is cut this lead, the blue lead, out and have an extension lead running down and into there, into the handle of that, because this can be on all the time because I only use type 2. If that makes sense, and then drill a hole in the case to get the signal out. So I'm going to stick this back together again without the blue lead, and we'll carry on building. And now the rain is chucking it down. That's back together again. So the idea is to cut this wire and have it coming out of the case. So I need to drill a hole in here to have that wire coming out, so that when it's plugged into the handle, I'm going to have that wire fed into the handle to where it's meant to go, instead of having to rewire and take the pins out of this. This will mean this will be permanently connected to the end of the type 1 plug, but that's fine in my case. So drilling time. One hole in the case so that I can put a wire through, and then we're just going to solder this end on here. So I'm going to cut there and then cut this back as well to get rid of this white wire, and then yeah, see what I'm doing. I'm into the main handle now of the original type 1 connector, and here it's marked PP. Can you see that? PP? PP! There you go, PP. So that's the proximity pilot signal. So I want to cut into this one and connect my blue wire to there, to the grey, and that will basically bypass the pin that's missing in here, or the connection missing. So that should then work, and I've got a nice little hole I can actually put the wire in. So that's the plan. And also on here, the grey goes through to yellow, which then goes through to the micro switch, which goes to ground. So that is actually how this handle tells the car that this ain't connected. So I believe that is correct. And there is going to be a resistor in here somewhere for that signal. Actually, probably up there, there's a resistor. So that's how I believe that's working. Simple? Simple, I think. Ta-da! So that's all connected now. So I've just got to put this on, and hopefully this will work. I think that's everything done. Oh, lots of noises. Right, so I plugged this into the car, and it started charging for like a second and then stopped. And we've got a red light on the charger, which indicates a fault condition. We can clear it. So we did start to charge, but then we didn't, and then back to a green light. So we can clear the fault. So I think that is going back to the original idea of an earth leakage fault. So I want to disable the earth leakage protection in this as well. So we've got to got 2 caps off. Some caps in here which are a pain to get in, so we might need to get a little drill or something to just get the caps off and then undo the screws. But first I'll unplug it. And we're in now. Something's got a bit squashed, doesn't it? That's not particularly great engineering. The ribbon on this has squashed that wire. Now, bear in mind, you can get 3 kilowatts going through here. That's not brilliant. It is unplugged, isn't it? Yes, it is unplugged. Well, I'm sticking my hands on it. Yeah, that's great. So, yeah, it's a bit shit, isn't it? So, pilot signal's there. That's the one that goes up. We've got so my initial plan is, what happens if we just unplug the earth leads? If we unplug that one and unplug that one, does this still happy to charge? And if it is, can we just short the 2 earth leads out at the back rather than take anything off and do anything crazy with it? Let's give that a try. Earth leads are unplugged. I'm going to lay this on the floor so I don't kill myself, and then try and charge a car, or a pretend car, using the resistor and the diode. So there's no error on the charger, which is a good sign. But of course it doesn't work, and I just realised it doesn't work because the middle pin is earth, so you actually go into earth. So what happens if we just connect the earth and the output? So this is the output side, so we're plugging this earth back in, because of course it's going to need the pilot signal on that. So with that connected, do we get a charge? And we're leaving the input earth off. Same connection, and it only does work, so we don't need earth input for it to actually start charging. How strange. So what I think is happening is, I don't know how it's doing the ground fault protection and it's getting the error. Very odd. So as an experiment, what I'm going to do is take this earth and connect this directly to this. So we bypass the input and any current measurement that we'll be doing on it, and let the car handle that. And then of course this will still charge because it doesn't need the earth and the input for it to work, and we still get the ground signal there. So short them together and then give it a try on the car, and don't blow anything up. That's the plan. Right, it's very crude and it's just jammed on there, but we'll give this a try and see what happens just as an experiment. Sweet, so it's now charging. So we look here on our dangerous contraption. We've got the earth link wire just shorted out and we are charging at the front. So that's what we need. Let's take it back. Right, I've wired it up properly. I forgot to film that and show you, but basically I've just done the same thing, but I haven't got wires flowing about nicely, loosely, so they're all nice and neat and everything. And that is it. That's our done. So we've got our earthing mod and we've got our control pilot in the right place. And this is now ready as an emergency charger. Now this is just an emergency charger. I've got a proper wall box on the wall, and this is only for, you know, if you ever need to get stuck, because you don't really want to charge using a 3-pin plug because it takes bloody ages and it makes the plug socket really hot. So there's actually a thermistor inside this plug, and the wiring of the plug's not great. You wouldn't want to pull 3 kilowatts for too long, but yeah, anyway, there's debate whether these are good or not, but I think it's good to have one at least just for backup, and this one is definitely a backup because there's wires hanging out of it, but it will do. So there we go, it's working, it's fixed, and that's a quick look inside one and how kind of roughly how they work, if you understood that. And yeah, that's it. I'll leave you there for now. So for now, I'll see you later. Bye for now.